Bettor Sports Betting is your home for picks, props, and futures for tonight's action. Bettor Sports Betting wants to know what picks you're playing tonight. Tell us in the live chat on YouTube, Twitter, and the Bettor Sports Network app. This is Bettor Sports Betting with Fantasy Alarm's Dan Servodidio.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome in here to the Bettor Sports Betting Show on Bettor Sports Network and Fantasy Alarm. Appreciate everyone coming in here on a Wednesday afternoon. Got Howard Bender back from his vacay, well-deserved vacation before the NFL season. What's up, Howard?
I don't even remember having a vacation. I've been so buried in everything right now over the last couple of days. Between writing up, articles, I got, like all the NFL Best Bets article I got to write for Fantasy Alarm. Also, I'm doing something for survivor pools. I'm also doing something for confidence pools, pick 'em confidence pools, as well. So making pick while also trying to stay ahead of the game, in the fantasy world. It is chaotic beyond belief, Servo. Beyond belief.
Yeah,
How are you doing?
I'm doing great. You missed the start of college football week 1. Was very exciting. So that's what I've been diving into on this show and the past week. But we got an NFL game tomorrow, and we got a bunch of games coming up on Sunday and Monday. So this show will definitely be giving out some picks for tomorrow's game. On tomorrow's show to start that one. And then Friday's show with you, Howard, we'll have a lot of picks for everyone, player props. We're going to be diving all into that stuff. It's been a whirlwind this week, just especially with the Travis Kelce injury news coming out yesterday and the Cooper Kupp injury we're still monitoring. You had a show, Alarm Fantasy Football Show, where you guys were answering questions, fantasy stuff. But this is all impacting betting too for week 1. And tomorrow's show, definitely the Travis Kelce injury will be a main focus of some of the picks that we make, some of the props that we're going to be giving out. Tune back into there. Baseball.
I got to tell you, for as far as like Travis Kelce and the injury goes and the bone bruise, that's the first time I've actually seen a non-quarterback player affect the line as dramatically as it's been affected. Yesterday morning, I don't even know, maybe like I was looking at it like 8-9 o'clock in the morning Pacific time, and the game total was 54.5. It's already down to 52 right now, and the Chiefs were favored by 5.5. Now they're only favored by 4.5. Usually when you see like a full point movement like that in a football game, it's because you got a quarterback issue, not that you just lost a tight end or you could potentially lose a tight end. So, obviously, Vegas moving the lines there. I'm curious to see if we did see a good amount of money come in on the Lions once that was, announced. So I think it's very, very interesting to see a non-QB actually move the lines as much as it did.
Yeah, and maybe a week ago, this line was at 6.5 for the Chiefs. So I think money was coming in on the Lions either way. And then, the Kelce injury definitely accelerated that. The under too. A lot of money coming in on that under, as you mentioned. And I feel like some of the value on the under is probably lost now. Now that it is like four points to the under. So if you got on that early, then that's good. Same thing with the Lions line. We'll see. Tomorrow, there's still a chance Kelce could play, I guess. I just don't see it happening. And if he is, maybe it's more of like a decoy out there on offense. But I just don't see how effective he's going to be as a receiver. And if you're looking at props and stuff too, a lot of the Chiefs props have been pulled off the board, except for like Mahomes and the rushing props. But in terms of receivers, they were pulled off the board yesterday, back up there now. But if we get Kelce news before kickoff tomorrow, we could see a lot of line movement if he's activated and maybe get some good value on an over on some of these players. We'll dive into that tomorrow's show, full into that stuff. We got some baseball picks to make for tonight's baseball slate that we'll get to shortly. If you guys have any picks out there you want to throw at us, We'll definitely hit on those comments on where we're feeling on some of your own picks. So comment those in the chat here. Wanted to start off though with NFL because you and me have been going through before you went on your vacation there. We went through every team, every division, and gave out some win totals for every team in every division. And we got to dive into now division odds, chances for every team to win their division outright this season, because there's some good value on there if you want to take a shot on some of these teams before week one. And I just think there's value on a bunch of different divisions here. So we'll go through, obviously there's, teams favored in every division, but I don't think either of us are going with some of the favorites because you can do that. But I think these are kind of more value picks that we're looking at. So what is your best bet for the division? I think we're aligned on one of these at least.
Well, and I think the one that we're aligned on is actually the one that I've been backing for the last month and a half.
Yeah.
Atlanta Falcons. I got him at plus 215 to win that South. I don't have any confidence in Tampa Bay. I don't have very much confidence in Carolina as they rebuild. And the Saints, again, I don't love Dennis Allen as a coach. I'm really curious as to see what Carmichael's going to do on the offensive front. Big story that kind of shook the fantasy community was that Taysom Hill, now listed as a QB on the Saints roster. And, the question is Carmichael is he really going to do this to us? Is he really going to sit there and utilize Taysom Hill in that fashion that, we've seen him use before? If that's the case, then, I don't trust the offense. I just don't really trust the Saints to end up doing that. And I have much more confidence in the Falcons turning around and just winning this division. We saw the winner of this division have a sub 500 record last year. So, could the Falcons go 9-8, win the division? I think they could.
Yeah, I think we both went over on the Falcons win total this year. And we're both high on it. That's one of my picks too. I like the Falcons to win the NFC South because you mentioned it. So the Saints are, I think by default, the favorites to win the division. And if you're looking on DraftKings, it's plus 105 for the Saints. The Falcons, though, shortly behind, plus 200 right now. But it's basically a two-horse race in this division because, the Panthers are plus 500. The Buccaneers are plus 1,000. I don't have any confidence in either the Bucs or the Panthers to win this division. So it's basically between the Saints and Falcons. And you can get value, double the odds on the Falcons to win. And I do think I have a lot of confidence in that offense. Just taking another step forward with Arthur Smith there and Bijan Robinson being a real difference maker. And guys like Pitts, London, just taking another step forward. These are really good talents in this offense. I think Desmond Ridder will be just good enough to kind of manage the situation. But I do think that the Falcons are very live to win this division. I'm surprised that they are. It's the odds have shortened, as you mentioned. You got it plus 215, and now it's plus 200. But I'm surprised that the Saints are so much ahead of them. But again, maybe it's just by default. But I think there's value on the Falcons for sure there. I'll throw another pick. I like another division that's just kind of a two-horse race for me. The AFC South. It's just basically between the Jaguars and Titans. I don't see the Colts and the Texans either competing for this division title, both with rookie quarterbacks, both kind of in rebuilding mode here. And the Jaguars minus 155 to win this division. And I'm high on the Jaguars. I do think they're going to be good this year. No reason to doubt them after they took another leap last year. I expect Trevor Lawrence to be a stud. But I just think there's value on getting the Titans here because they're just kind of falling in the wayside of being like a forgotten team. But I think they're going to really compete this year. And you just look at that division, it's between the Titans and Jaguars. And you can get value on the Titans at plus 350. I like that.
Yeah, I think when they made that move and they picked up Hopkins, again, the big issue for me, obviously, is that offensive line. And Derrick Henry needs to stay healthy throughout the entire season. But to get some value, at least on the pick, you don't want to, I'm not going to sit there and put that on the Jaguars. Two tight game losses could go either way, could be the differential in this whole thing. I like that. I'm doing kind of a similar thing actually in the AFC North.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm looking at the Ravens at plus 235. Everybody's in on the Bengals, and I love the Bengals. Joe Burrow, he's a stud, and I love all those guys there. But it's just there's not a lot of value in taking the Bengals there. Then you look at the Ravens. And this team, I got to tell you, I love their defense. I think that there are certain things that are highly underrated about them. And who knows, with this Todd Monken offense, if the running lanes open up more for Lamar Jackson, if he does successfully pass downfield, because he's got these new weapons in OBJ and Zay Flowers joining Rashad Bateman and Mark Andrews. So, for plus 235, I think that's actually, I think it's worth it. Just to see, listen, Joe Burrow hurt his calf. He's going to be playing in week 1. I get that. But I mean, listen, something happens with the with Joe Burrow and what happens with the Bengals. Obviously it can go, you can say that about any team, but if I'm going to look at, a team that could actually, win this division, I think the Ravens have some value.
I like that pick too. The Ravens were a team I went over on their win total because this offense is going to be good. And I love that they have obviously Mark Andrews, but they have a really good second tight end in Isaiah Likely. I know they bring in some other guys for the receivers, but I just think that having those two tight ends and what Todd Monken just did at Georgia last year with two really good tight ends, this offense is going to be very good. And it's just a lot more, safety, I think, for Lamar Jackson as like a passer. I mean, I know he's taken steps as a passer, but I think just having the two tight ends there, it's going to be really good for him. So, I like that. And there's definitely value because I don't think the Bengals should be that much farther ahead than the Ravens in this division. And I'm not buying into the Browns hype with Deshaun Watson back again. Just not really buying into that. and the Steelers, I think, a distant fourth in this division. So good call on that one. My other pick here, I'm going with the Chicago Bears to win the NFC North plus 380 on DraftKings. I'm just not totally in on the Lions being this like clear favorite in this division. I know they took a leap last year, improved a lot, expected to be good again this year. I just think the Bears are a really, dark horse in the NFC overall. If Justin Fields is just, taking another step forward to being, among the top tier quarterbacks in the NFL, but also just in general for, as a playmaker with his rushing, DJ Moore coming there is huge for him just to have a really true wide receiver one. I like the Bears. I think they're very live in this division. And another division where I'm just, I'm crossing off the Packers. Don't think they're going to compete for this division. And the odds say the same thing. And also just kind of selling on the Vikings from having kind of a lucky season. You look at like they were a perfect record, I think, in 1-score games last year. I just think they're going to regress a bit. So I think there's value in getting the Bears because I'm not totally buying into these Lions hype.
Well, I gotta, listen, this is where we're gonna differ because I think the Bears defense is crap. I really do. A huge mistake trading Roquan Smith last year. I don't even know what they got. I don't even know what they got in that deal.
Some picks.
Yeah, right. I mean, I didn't dig that move at all. I think adding Brian Flores as the defensive coordinator is going to help Minnesota. Is their defense going to be great? No, it's not going to be great. But they do have the firepower offensively to, jump into these shootouts, which we saw last year that they had. I just don't see the Vikings. I mean, we talked about it with the win total and like their win total is like a 3 or a 4, less, fewer wins than what they had last year. I don't expect them to be a 13-win team again, but man, I do. I think a lot of people are drinking the Lions Kool-Aid right now. It should be really interesting to see what happens with them early on in the season. But, I see where you got the value there for the Bears. I would prefer the value for Minnesota because I want to say they're like 250 plus 250 or plus 260 or something like that to win the division. And I would lean in that direction before the Bears, only because, again, the Bears defense is just
plus 290 on the Vikings on DraftKings. Even better. I do think the Bears added a couple guys that could make the defense a little better. They bring in Yannick Ngakoue on the edge. They bring in TJ Edwards and Tremaine Edmonds too in the linebacking core. Some under the radar picks I think could shore up things just a little bit. And if this is a team that's going to be playing more run heavy offense, I do think they'll open up a little bit more now that they do have DJ Moore there. But I think if they kind of manage games, it's going to be a lot of closer games for them where they could sneak some out. So yeah, just some. I guess we're both liking the value over the Lions in that division.
Yeah.
Either way. All right, you got another division winner pick?
You know what? I've got two more division winner picks if you want. Why not? Right? I got my hat on here, Servo. What does that say? What's that say?
Jets, Jets.
As a fan, as a bettor, I think it's okay. It's good value. Plus 270 to win the division. I'm not totally sold on Buffalo. I think the Jets defense is real deal, and I think it's going to be absolutely outstanding this year. I think they've got a great, we say it all the time, on basically every fantasy alarm show. Running the football is a luxury of winning teams. And if the Jets can grab a lead, imagine that 1-2 punch of Breece Hall and Dalvin Cook just grinding out the clock, running the football in the second half, and really just alleviating some of the pressure that, it's not all about Aaron Rodgers slinging the rock and trying to wage a comeback. Let Aaron throw the ball all willy-nilly in that first half, couple of scores here and there, and then just run the football and run out the clock. I think that, if Tua doesn't stay healthy, I think that Miami struggles a little bit. I like Mike White, but I still think that they could struggle a little bit. And I don't love Buffalo. So I think as a fan, I'll say Jets plus 270. I'll put a unit on it. If you want to bleed green with me, put a unit on it. But if not, then, listen, I'm totally fine with, I would side actually with Miami. I would take Miami over taking, Buffalo as well, to win that division. So
me too.
But I'll take the Jets just so I can have a little bit of fun. A little bit of fun.
You got to. I do think it's there's value in taking the Jets or the Dolphins in that division and not taking the Bills. Because a full healthy season of Tua, this Dolphins offense could finish as the highest scoring team in the league. They could just be outscoring teams in general, and they could really be live here. I do think there's clear value in the Jets, and you got to get on this bet now too, because Jets week 1 at home against the Bills on Monday Night Football. If they win that game, these odds
they win that game
for sure. Yeah. And I think it's only 1.5 is the spread there. So, obviously it could go either way, but I do think there's value on the Jets right now. We get Mitchell Trubisky 10. I don't think that's the Mitchell Trubisky, but
how do you know it's not the real Mitchell Trubisky?
He's commenting here on Discord saying Jets win the division. He likes your pick there. He also likes Bears plus 380 with me. So
does he? Does he? I mean, can we do a little emoji investigation here? I see fire, but then it looks like a sad, angry face, and then an arrow pointing down.
The arrow pointing down is tough to decipher because the fire emoji and the bear head.
Oh, emoji, is that a bear head?
I think it's a bear head. Will have me thinking that he's kind of back in my Bears plus 380 pick.
I don't know, or does that mean that Bears go down in flames?
It might be, yeah. That might be it.
Mitch, could you do me a favor? Could you express your emoji game here in some words? It's not bear down.
Oh, bear down. That's okay. What it is. Okay. Yep.
Isn't that what they tell pregnant women as they're delivering babies?
Oof, I don't know.
You don't know yet.
I don't know yet.
Shout out, by the way, James Babyface Grande became an official girl dad the other day, and mazel tov to him.
Yeah, he's taking some deserved time off here. But yeah, good call for Grande there. Just giving him props. Awesome stuff. Yeah, girl dad. I do hope to be one someday. A girl dad.
A girl dad
awesome.
Or just a dad?
Girl dad would be cool. Dad in general, yes, but Mitchell Trubisky 10 also commented on Discord that Bosa has signed a 5-year, $170 million contract. Yeah, that's notable for the NFC West odds for sure. The 49ers just shoring up Bosa there, getting the deal done before week 1. So that's huge for them going into their matchup on the road against the Steelers. Interesting matchup there. But yeah, getting Bosa is a good thing for the 49ers, obviously. You have a pick in the NFC West, though, not the 49ers.
Is Joey Bosa signing a 5-year, $170 million contract going to tip the scales on Seahawks to win that NFC West at plus 230? I think not. Come on, baby. Listen, we've seen the Seahawks now. The thing that I love the most about the Seahawks, and yes, it pains me to no end to have to support Geno Smith, the guy who's obviously, got the most punchable face in football, as we saw. But what right? Remember when he got knocked out by his by one of his teammates in the locker room?
I do remember.
So, but what I like is that Pete Carroll has always been, run. He brings in Shane Waldron. Like he accepts the fact that maybe his offensive style is a little archaic. And he brings in Shane Waldron, who was the passing game coordinator for the Rams underneath Sean McVay. So Waldron comes in, and the next thing you know, Geno Smith has the 6th most passing attempts in the NFL. They've got Lockett. They've got Metcalf. Jackson Smith-Njigba looks like he is actually going to be available here for week 1 as he recovered from a fractured wrist or a fractured arm or something like that. So he's going to be back. They've got Kenneth Walker. They've got Zach Charbonnet. I mean, I genuinely believe that what we're looking at here is a legit team for the Seahawks. If they can keep their defense going, if they can get Jamal Adams back in that secondary, then I think that the Seahawks put up a tougher fight than a lot of people are expecting going up against the San Francisco 49ers. So I think it's a 2-team race in that division. I think everybody thinks it's a 2-team race in that division. So I'll take the well, come on. Josh Dobbs was announced as the starting quarterback by the Arizona Cardinals. So, I mean, you got to kind of weigh that in there, right? Seahawks plus 230 to win that NFC West. Yes, please.
Yeah, that's the clear value pick for the NFC West, too, because you're right. It's a 2-horse race there. The Rams that are plus 1,000 on DraftKings, the Cardinals at plus 3,500. Not wagering on either of those. And there's not value in back in the 49ers at minus 190 to win the division, the clear favorites there. But I do think the Seahawks are alive as the second team there to pull ahead, especially late. Listen, I'm not sold on Brock Purdy being doing what he just did last year. You look at, we touched on this when we talked about the NFC West win totals and talking through the 49ers, was you look at their schedule late in the year when they had Purdy there, and the strength of schedule, and they were just kind of beating up on some lower teams, especially some teams that were just kind of tanking in late in the year. It went well. It was very favorable for Purdy just to have success and carry the team as good as the talent was around him to just a few more wins there and string off an undefeated record as the starter in the regular season. So I don't think it's going to be the same thing this time around. So I do think there's value in the Seahawks there. Good call. Mitch Trubisky also commenting here, AFC South, who do you guys got? Yeah, I gave out the Titans just previously, I guess, before he jumped on. I like the Titans to win that division as the plus 350 value there. It's just, again, this is another division where it's basically Jags or Titans, and I think there's clear value on taking the Titans. Though I do think the Jaguars are going to be legit this year. I just think there's value on the Titans there. Michael Rojas commenting saying Seattle, Atlanta, Dallas, and Minnesota division winners parlay. That would be a juicy division winner parlay, though. I mean, we're aligned on Atlanta there, and he likes your Seattle pick. Dallas and Minnesota. Listen, as an Eagles fan, I do think that the Cowboys are very real to win this division. No NFC East division winner has won back-to-back divisions since 2003. This is a streak now going back 20 years where it's never been a consecutive division winner in the NFC East. So you look at the Eagles winning it last year. I think it's very real the Cowboys win it this year. So I could back that. And then Minnesota, I guess you're on Minnesota.
I'd like to know what that parlay goes for, right? I'm because I'm in on Minnesota. I said that. I'd love to say what that parlay is at.
Let me put it in right now. Seahawks. DraftKings. Plus 11,000 odds. A little bit over plus 11,000 odds on getting all 4 of those division winners right. Juicy. Like that.
I'm right there with Michael Rojas, man. Boom, 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 boom. Absolutely. I like that. I do not like Mitchell Trubisky saying that he's going with Houston to win the AFC South.
Yeah, that's tough. I don't know about that.
That's a tough one there, Mitchell. This might have been why you got run out of the NFL.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's so that's some NFL division winners odds for this season. You can get those in before the season starts. Let's turn our attention to baseball tonight because we got some baseball picks we want to give out to everyone. I do want to remind everyone though, tomorrow's show. So last week you might remember we started up our college football pick'em contest over on bettoredge.com. Started up last week. Our producer, Adam Bernard, actually won it, picking over-unders. That's what we're doing. We're picking game totals, over-unders, staying away from spreads and all that, but easy enough to pick some games going over or under their totals. So that's what we're doing tomorrow on the show. So stay tuned on details to get into that contest on bettoredge.com. You can go over to bettoredge.com/better, BETTOR. To kind of see more information, but we'll be giving out some of the info on tomorrow's show, diving more into college football in general on Thursdays moving forward. That's where we'll spend a lot of time because Fridays will be a lot of NFL heavy picks and predictions, but Thursday's shows going forward, we'll do a lot of college football. So if you're a college football fan or just want to get on this contest, you win some free money over on Bettor Edge if you win the contest. So big stuff there. We got some big matchups in college football this weekend. Texas, Alabama is a huge one. We got while you're away, Colorado just
I saw that, man. I mean, listen, that game was going on during the daytime, and we checked that out. Yeah. I mean, Deion Sanders, he called his shot. He comes up with a huge win. What are they? They've got Nebraska this weekend, though, right? I mean.
Yeah, Nebraska, Colorado is a big one this weekend. Should be a high-scoring game again with Colorado involved. So maybe we're going over on that total. We'll see. A couple other Wisconsin, Washington State's another big, good non-conference matchup. Some interesting games and teams to dive into, and we'll be doing again tomorrow's show the Bettor Edge contest that we'll be giving out. Servo 7 is what we're calling it. You just make 7 picks out of like a pool of 21 games, and you go over under on them. So it should be fun. All right, let's dive into baseball tonight and go over our best bets and picks for tonight's slate. Enough games. We got some afternoon baseball going on, but enough games tonight to dive into. So Howard, what's your best bet tonight?
Best bet tonight, I'm taking the Astros Rangers on the under. It was at 9 runs. Minus 122 on DK. I did see it on BetMGM under 8.5 at plus 105. I thought about that, but you know what? I feel like with Verlander versus Scherzer, I feel like there's going to be some contrarian play to take the over. Maybe one gives up some home runs or whatnot, or at least it stays right around 9. So I'll be happy with the push, and just, and just not lose anything. But, for minus 122 on DK, I'll take under 9 runs and hope it just sits under there. And I'll just protect myself for, like a little bit of juice. I'll protect myself for the push there with Astros Rangers.
Yeah, I'm looking on DraftKings. It's down to 8.5 is the total there. I mean, you can pay a little bit on other sites maybe to get the 9, but you're back in the Verlander Scherzer old school pitching duel, huh?
I mean, listen, it's two great offenses, but it's two great pitchers, and
Mhm.
both teams are really vying for the division title and for the and or wild card. So I think this is going to be a big, this is like, when you get Verlander and Scherzer in a big game situation. I'll put my trust in the pitchers more than the hitters overall.
All right. Well, before I get to my best bet, I got to throw out a pick on that game. Let's just stick in that game because maybe disagreeing a little bit, but at least if this prop can hit and your bet can hit, then I'm fine with it. Jose Altuve, I'm going over on his hits, runs, RBI tonight, over 1.5. He homered 3 times last night. He homered twice the night before. The guy is just on another level right now. And he has been, you kind of look through, surprisingly, I think he's got a lot better road numbers this season. He's hitting 365 on the road, 1123 OPS compared to just a 267 batting average at home, 782 OPS. Also hitting righties a lot better than lefties, but on the road too, you go back through it. 15 of his last 16 road games, he's been over 1.5 hits, runs, RBIs. I think that's huge just coming into tonight. I know it's Scherzer. I just think that Altuve, with how hot he's hitting, hitting 375 over his last 7 games too, coming into tonight. I see him going over this prop like he has been a lot. So the Scherzer matchup definitely scares me a little bit, but I think he can get over it tonight. We got Michael Rojas commenting here on YouTube, saying he likes Matt Manning under 4.5 strikeouts going against your Yankees and the Dodgers' first 5 run line. I think you agree on that second one, huh?
I do agree on that second one. I've got the Dodgers on that first 5 run line. I got it for plus 100 on BetMGM. So I love that, right? I mean, you're talking about, you're banking on Lance Lynn rebounding. And, listen, Lance Lynn got his ass handed to him in the last start, but it was the Braves. The Braves hand, everybody their ass. I mean, it's just fact. The Braves are an absolute dominant team. This is the Marlins. I probably don't know if I'm pronouncing it correctly, but it's JT Chargois. Hello, I'm JT Chargois, and I'm a pitcher for the Miami Marlins. Yes. And so I mean, listen, I don't trust him. He's the opener, and then they were looking at, like, I think it was like Brian Hoeing or something like that they were possibly using as like the bulk middle reliever against these Dodgers. No, I'll take the Dodgers on the run line for the first 5 innings and hope that they dispatched of Chargois and whoever their bulk reliever is for that one there. Come on, man, it's even money right there.
Yeah, getting even money on the Dodgers' first 5 run line is not bad right there. Well, I got a pick in this game too. Seems we're on the other side of things here, which is not always a bad thing. But Jazz Chisholm Jr., I'm going over his hits, runs, RBIs tonight. Over 1.5 hits, runs, RBIs. You mentioned Lynn there. I just think that Lynn's gone cold. He's back down to earth from what he was with the White Sox.
Oh, come on. It was one start.
It's 2 starts.
He's gone 3 runs the start before. Oh, no, 3 runs.
He's given up 11 runs and 17 hits over his past 2 starts combined now. I know it's against some better offenses than the Marlins, but he's still gone a little cold here. And until I see he's turning it back again, like he did with the Dodgers when he first got traded there, I'm not buying in. And I see Jazz Chisholm here, really, really stark difference in his splits versus righty pitchers than compared to lefties. Hitting 284 with a 521 slug against righties and just a 161 batting average, 258 slug against lefties. And he's also gone over 1.5 hits, runs, RBIs, 5 straight games here, and 6 of the last 7 coming into tonight. I just think that he's going to keep it going. He's hitting well lately, 355 batting average over the past week, 4 multi-hit games too in this span. So give me Jazz to at least get this prop. I mean, your Dodgers first 5 run line could still cash, but give me Jazz to go over.
Yeah, listen, I mean, you know what? He can go 2 for 3 with no runs and no RBIs. I don't give a crap. Go ahead.
That's
Let
fine
him
with
do
me.
that. But
That's fine with me.
Dodgers run line, we're all over it.
Listen, Lynn is he's given up 5 home runs too in the last 2 starts. That's a little scary.
You know, Michael Rojas probably is being polite by not telling you to shut up in the chat right now because, I mean, Michael, you and me, we're here, baby, and Servo's somewhere. I mean, can we just push Servo out of the window here?
Oh, I'm going the other way.
Yeah, you're going the wrong way. Thanks a lot. Way to keep that illusion up. And how do you not get some fake arms that can go into your room? Right? Come on.
I don't have that technology right now. All right, how about go back to my best bet because we kind of skipped over it, but this is the one I'm most confident in tonight is the Orioles team total over 4.5. This offense is just against left-handed pitching. This is legit. One of the top offenses against lefties all season long, but over the past week, hitting 324 with a 351 WOBA against lefty starters or lefty pitchers overall. They got Patrick Sandoval on the mound tonight for the Angels. He's been shaky. He's allowed at least 5 runs on his own in 3 of his last 4 starts coming into tonight. Has a 5.02 ERA since the start of August. The Orioles have scored 5+ runs in 7 of their last 8 games coming into tonight. 11 of the last 13 as well. So even when they're not winning all these games, which they have been a lot, but even though when they're not winning, the offense is putting up runs. Staying away from the Orioles money line with Kyle Gibson on the mound. I could see that going either way, but I do think the offense for Baltimore just keeps it going. And the silver lining here is whenever Patrick Sandoval leaves the game, the Angels bullpen is terrible right now. They are very bad. They blew a lead last night, even with their closer, Estevez, in there. But league worst 10.02 ERA over the past week for the Angels. And they've gotten significantly worse. I've touched us on this the last couple shows and successfully, faded this Angels bullpen because even though, they lost Matt Moore, Reynaldo Lopez, Dominic Leone, even though those guys aren't the best starters, they've replaced them with AAA guys that, weren't in the majors a week ago and wouldn't be in the majors if they didn't just cut bait on this season. Also losing Lucas Giolito too has kind of forced their hand to move a starter, Rosenberg, into the rotation, who was a reliever. And I just think this relief core is terrible. So even if Sandoval kind of limits the Orioles early on, the Orioles are going to score 3 more runs in the 7th, 8th, or 9th innings. So give me this team total over 4.5.
Dude, I can dig it. I can definitely dig it. I got to be honest with you, man. I mean, I know that, my Yankees aren't, we're not going anywhere. I love to see good things happen to the AL East teams like Baltimore, because I think that they've earned it. They deserve it. They've got a lot of great young talent on that team. So I will take care of that.
Yeah. All right. And shout out to our fill-in producer now. Adam Bernard had some technical problems, internet problems, but Heather Klein filling in as a producer, and she's given us a few updates for you guys for NFL purposes. We broke with that Bosa contract situation, but the injuries we were talking about, the Cooper Kupp and the Travis Kelce. So the Chiefs officially list Travis Kelce as questionable for tomorrow night. Maybe it's just kind of a, just kind of like boilerplate, list him as questionable, but it's hard to see him playing. I know it wasn't it turns out not to be as serious of an injury, but just just keep that in mind. But he is listed as questionable. He's not listed as out yet. And then Cooper Kupp officially ruled out for Week 1 against the Seahawks. So that's obviously a big loss for the Rams. So if you're looking to bet on that game, I haven't looked at how the line has moved in that game. Have you seen? Because I'm sure the Seahawks were favored ahead of time, but the line right now, we got the Seahawks 5.5 point favorites on the spread. I do think that moved in the Seahawks' favor. I think that was only.
I don't know. I kind of feel like it's been 5.5 for a little bit.
Okay.
I think, yeah, because again, one of the things that we always talk about is what moves the needle. And I just don't necessarily know if Cup if Cup being out really moves that needle like we saw with Kelce. I mean, I guess it technically should.
It probably
But
could, yeah.
maybe because they believe that Matthew Stafford can find Van Jefferson or Tyler Higbee or whoever, and it doesn't really it doesn't affect it as badly as the Chiefs losing Kelce. But I don't know. I still like the Seahawks in this game. That's for sure.
Okay. By the way, before we give out some Diamond Dogs for tonight, just got to remind everyone that Lisa Ann is back on Bettor Sports Network tonight. Lisa Ann and Howard Bender, you're pulling like quadruple duty today. I love it. The show is at 7 p.m. Eastern. Lisa Ann does Fantasy Bettor. That's Lisa and Howard chatting upcoming NFL season. I'm sure you guys will touch on this Travis Kelce and Cooper Kupp injury news. So that's definitely something to know. But obviously, fantasy football teams see how Lisa Ann is treating Week 1 in her fantasy teams this year. So look at Lisa Ann does Fantasy Bettor tonight, 7 p.m. Eastern, coming up tonight. All right,
that's gonna be fun because she's got a draft starting like halfway through the show. And I've got 2 drafts going, one at the start of the show and then one in the second half of the show. So we're gonna be live drafting while we're doing the show, kind of going back and forth. Maybe see if we can share some insights and some tips with each other. It's it's gonna be a fun time. It definitely is.
Wow, some multiple drafts going on. Love that.
And wait till you see my costume change from this show to that show.
Oh, taking off the Jets hat?
I don't know. Maybe I am.
All right, let's give out some plus money bets for tonight. Let's go to our Diamond Dogs.
I'm rounding up the Diamond Dogs.
Who the are the Diamond Dogs?
It's just a group of people who care, Roy. Not unlike folks at a hip-hop concert whose hands are not in the air.
This is not a start of a Fish song, right, Howard? This is Diamond Dogs.
This is not. That's the start of a David Bowie song called the Diamond Dogs. But you know what? When I was away over the weekend, so Fish does a song called The Howling, which I actually sent to you. And I got to tell you, man, hearing like 30,000 people all howling at the same time during the course of this song was very, very entertaining. The band was extremely entertained by it. It was a very, very good time, to say the least. But my Diamond Dog that we got here, I'm taking the alt run line for the Atlanta Braves. And here we go. They're taking on Dakota Hudson and the St. Louis Cardinals. Dakota Hudson pitches to so much contact that I'm going to take the Braves -2.5 on the run line at +110 on BetMGM. It's not like a huge thing that we're looking at. I'm not getting it at like +170. I'm not parlaying it with anything. Braves have to win by 3. I think the Braves can easily win this game by 3. I think Dakota Hudson gives up some serious runs early on, and I will look to the Braves to cover this 2.5 run line at +110.
Yeah, I can get behind that one for sure. Almost gave out the Braves run line, a regular run line -1.5 as one of my bets, but it was a little too, it's like -145 or something like that.
I saw that.
Yeah, but the one pick, I didn't throw it out, but I'll throw it out right now that I did look at was Spencer Strider to get a win tonight is like -135. I just think that's like you never see a starting pitcher be like that much of a favorite to get the win, but it's gonna happen. I mean, it should happen tonight with the Braves as huge favorites, and you like the run line there. It should be an easy win for the Braves tonight against the Cardinals. My Diamond Dog is the Ryan Mountcastle over 1.5 total bases. You get plus money on that right now, +110 on DraftKings. I love that. because this guy mashes left-handed pitching. He has been all year. 358 batting average, 694 slugging percentage, 336 ISO against left-handed pitching this year. I mentioned he's got Patrick Sandoval on the mound tonight for the Angels. I'd like that team total over. I think Mountcastle does a lot to help that out. And I can't believe he's getting plus odds on his total bases with how hot he's hitting against left-handed pitching this year. He's also hitting well lately, 322 batting average over his past 15 games. And Sandoval, too, allowing some better numbers to righties. So I think it's all pointing to Mountcastle having a good game here. And I like his over total bases.
Yeah, listen, I will support you on that. It goes in line with what we were talking about with the Orioles team total 100%. Second half of the season, every time I try to invest in Mountcastle, he kind of, hits me with that offer. So, I mean, I will support you mentally and emotionally here, Servo, but I am not going to put my money on Ryan Mountcastle at this point. Not that I don't like your bet. I just can't do it for myself.
That's fair. Well, I'm hoping he goes. If he goes deep tonight, that'd be awesome. We didn't give out daily dingers tonight, but I might have picked Mountcastle for my daily dinger. But instead, going with the plus money on his total bases. So, all right.
I'll take Matt Olson to hit a dinger.
Oh yeah, Matt Olson. If John and Pembo was on the show, I don't know if you've noticed, he's been going with Bobby Witt every show, and it's been coming through for him more often than not. So they're on the slate tonight too. So Bobby Witt, why don't he go deep tonight? All right, so those are our picks for tonight. And again, earlier in the show, we touched on our division winner best bets for the NFL. So go back and watch that if you missed any of it. But best bets for tonight. We got a bunch rolling tonight, and we'll be back tomorrow on the show, 4 p.m. Eastern. Again, we'll be doing a lot of college football stuff, but we'll also definitely touch on our best bets for and picks for the Thursday night football opener, Chiefs and Lions. So you gotta tune in for that, see where we're at with Travis Kelce's injury and everything. Tune back in tomorrow, 4 p.m. Eastern. Coming up right after us, as always, 5 p.m. Eastern, we got the MLB DFS live show. John and Pemba and not James Grande, but I think it's Colby Conway filling in for him. So we got that coming up right at 5 p.m. Eastern. Then 6 p.m. Eastern, Sports Bettor Court with Dan Lust. And then again, 7 p.m. Eastern, Lisa Ann does Fantasy Better with Howard Bender co-hosting with Lisa Ann. So stay tuned all night here on Bettor Sports Network. And thanks for everyone joining in here on a Wednesday. We'll be back tomorrow. Good luck with all your bets.